going to move to another Norwegian composer. This one is a little better known, at least in Norway. His name is Christian Sinding. Although the title of this article is The Forgotten Norwegian Composer, so maybe he isn't so well known. But born in 1856, so he's about 15 years younger than Grieg. So Grieg had sort of paved the way for Norwegian composers, and Sinding was not far behind. He also went off to the Leipzig Conservatory. He was a violinist, and so wrote lots of pieces for violin. Very prolific composer. Wrote actually a couple different suites for this combination. Wrote a wonderful piano quintet when he was about 17 years old. Wrote quite a bit. He ends up coming back and working mostly in Oslo. He has, I think, 4 different symphonies. And his most famous piece, for those of you who play piano, there's something called Frühlingsrauschen, or Rustle of Spring, which was of his one famous piece. I think Liberace played that even, but it was very well known at some point in the middle of the 20th century and then has faded into non-existence. Sadly, Sinding had the misfortune of dying in 1941, and apparently he had dementia for several months before his death. But apparently there was a Nazi card with his name on it. It was not signed, so there are some people who think that the Nazis maybe put that out because he was so well known and they wanted to show that they had Christian Sinding on it. But whatever the reason, because of that, the Norwegians sort of like dismissed him, as they did to most of the Nazi who they thought were collaborators. So for about 20 years, nobody played Sinding in Norway. We're only sort of getting his music out there again, and it's really beautiful and romantic and passionate. So we thought we'd give you this first suite that he wrote, a first serenade from 1902. It's actually in 5 movements, which is an odd combination of movements, but there's a wonderful first movement again with lots of great interplay with the violins, one of these gorgeous second movements that again builds to a kind of a major climax in there, a very light little minuet kind of third movement. Then there's a 4th movement, which is really sort of the piano has very little to do, the violins put on their mute, and it's just sort of like a little après-bouche, a little something to wet our palate cleansing before we get into the final movement, which is a crazy movement with lots of fun stuff in it. So we hope you enjoy Christian Sinding's Serenade No. 1. piece. Wait for the next one. All right, this is, I did not make them play this next piece. They chose this, but it's a real great, fun, virtuoso violin piece to take us to the finish. Written by Pablo de Sarasate, one of the great violinists of the 19th century. He and Paganini really sort of had the whole of Europe at their feet. Sarasate was born in Pamplona in the Navarre region of Spain. His father was apparently a kind of a military bandmaster and an amateur at many instruments. And at some point, he was trying to figure out a passage on the violin, and his 5-year-old son was next to him. And he took the violin, and he played it absolutely perfectly. So soon word spread about this amazing 5-6-year-old, and Queen Isabella II started funding him to go around and perform at the age of 7 or 8. He gets invited to the Paris Conservatory when he's 12 years old. And starts concertizing in London, and he ends up in the 1860s coming to the United States to do a big tour, and even down to South America. So he really traveled the world. But the thing that he most loved, and I forgot to mention, he also was one of the first violinists to make a recording. In 1904, there was actually a recording of Sarasate playing. It's a terribly scratchy record, but it is Sarasate playing. He was known to have this very sweet and pure tone and a kind of wide vibrato, and just had that Spanish flair. Bruch actually dedicated his Scottish fantasy to him, and several other people did as well. But this piece is called Navarra, and it's really a tribute to his birthplace, his birth region of Navarre, with all sorts of wonderful folk music in here, inspired by this musical instrument called the gaita, which is a small recorder-like instrument. I think it's even close to a bagpipe. It has something you push on it, and it plays very high that only dogs can hear it. And so there are moments in this where the violins are way up high in this harmonic region, and it really has this crazy ending coda, but it has so much great folk music in it, and it really gives a chance for these violinists to show off. So we hope you enjoy Navarra by Sarasate. We thank you all for coming here. Please do sign up in the email list. I'll see you out the door when you leave.